today I'm going to show you how to freeze a cake. I already got my cake out over here. The first thing you have to do when you take a cake out of the oven is you're going to have to let it sit for about 3 hours. That way, like if you're putting it in a freezer and it's really hot, it's not going to melt any of the saran wrap you put on it, and it's also not going to cause the freezer to go down to lower temperatures and kind of melt everything else that's in your freezer. Another thing you have to know is that cakes do not last that long, so the sooner that you use your cake, the better. And the less you can freeze it if possible, it's better to do that. When I was going to baking school, my chef always said that 1 or 2 weeks is still like a time that she would not try to sell a cake past. So the first thing I would say is that as many as there are good blogging sites out there that will say that you can freeze it up to 2 to 3 months, it really is best, if possible, to get it out in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So after you are done freezing your cake, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to, you can keep it in the actual pan that you have. I already have it wrapped up sort of in this thing. But you can keep it in the actual pan as long as you don't need to use the pan to bake another cake, because that way you'll have another layer of protection from the air getting inside to the cake. So it's totally fine to keep it in here. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to wrap it up in some saran wrap, and that's going to keep, again, air from trying to get into the cake and preventing the freezer burn. Maybe it's good to put about like 2 to 3 wraps, which is what people usually suggest. But if you are trying to freeze it for longer periods of time, for like maybe 2 or 3 months again, it's probably good to put like 3 or 4 layers on there. So definitely 3, probably 4 if you want to be safe. Still though, that's not the only thing you have on here. Again, what you can do is you can also use some aluminum foil wrap and just put that on there as well. What this does is it prevents any odors from your freezer getting into the cake, kind of deflects it. And that way you're not going to have any extra surprises when you're taking the cake out of the freezer. Another thing I was learning is that other people will have a third layer, either a paper bag or a freezer bag, and that's like the final way to protect the cake. But most people don't even use that. It's an extra precaution. But usually, you know, the more stuff you can do to take care of your cake, the better. Another thing you can do is you can also frost your cake and then freeze it. Of course, it's going to mess up the actual frosting of the cake once you do that, if you decide to wrap it in the saran wrap. But it will protect the cake even better because you have that layer of frosting and butter to prevent any freezer burn from happening. If you didn't want to have to refrost the cake after freezing it, you could put it in a plastic Tupperware and then you can put saran wrap over that, and that way you'll have a completely frosted cake from a long period of time. And some people, they even take their wedding cakes from 2 or 3 years and they'll have that frozen and they'll just wrap it up in saran wrap and they will eat it on their anniversaries and not, and people say that it still tastes pretty good. All these things that I talked about, they are really good tips for butter cakes. Butter cakes that don't really have any fillings or sour cream added to it. When you do add things like heavy cream, sour cream, and these fillings, you're going to have to be a little more careful about the different freezing rules for that, because they can spoil a lot faster in the freezer. And there you have it, all the tips and tricks you need to know for freezing your next cake. You can also check out more of the cake creations and baking projects I've had down at my blog at cakesbybonnie.wordpress.com. I'll see you next time.